Anybody would like to read?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
There is a Prabhupada lecture on this. Maybe you can on that
Is
for
it?
today. I
could
don't know.
not.
There is one
No,
in Prabhupada
no, I could not find it, Mataji. I was just Googling it. So
Prabhu Mukunda is online. Did you reach out to him?
yeah, he just responded saying that he cannot log in.
Oh.
Anybody would like to read, or you want me to read? I can read.
I can read from text
You can
28.
read prayers, Mataji.
Text 28, right?
Yes, Mataji. Prayers you can start and then you can.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakkaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanang Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'll start reading. Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 28. Atho tichim disham yatu svairagyata gatir bhavan ito rak prayasa kala pumsham guna vikarshana. Translation and purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please, therefore, leave for the north immediately without letting your relatives know, for soon that time will approach which will diminish the good qualities of men. Purport. One can compensate for a life of frustration by becoming a dhira or leaving home for good without communicating with relatives, and Vidura advised his eldest brother to adopt this way without delay, because very quickly the age of Kali was approaching. A conditioned soul is already degraded by the material association, and still in the Kali Yuga, the good qualities of a man will deteriorate to the lowest standard. He was advised to leave home before Kali Yuga approached, because the atmosphere which was created by Vidura, his valuable instructions on the fact of life, would fade away due to the influence of the age which was fast approaching. To become Narottama, or a first-class human being, depending completely on the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, is not possible for any ordinary man. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.28 that a person who is completely relieved of all taints of sinful acts can alone depend on the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Dhritarashtra was advised by Vidura at least to become a dhira in the beginning if it were impossible for him to become a sannyasi or a narottama. Persistently endeavoring on the line of self-realization helps a person to rise to the conditions of a Narottama from the stage of a Dhira. The Dhira stage is attained after prolonged practice of the yoga system, but by the grace of Vidura, one can attain the stage immediately simply by willing to adopt the means of the Dhira stage, which is the preparatory stage for sannyas. The sannyasa stage is the preparatory stage of Paramahamsa, or the first great devotee of the Lord. Thank you, Prabhu.
Would you like to share something, Mataji? Maybe others also can share.
Yeah, I think, in continuation from the verses that all the devotees have been explaining so nicely, Vidura is basically motivating Dhritarashtra to do what is right for his age, and in conjunction with the yuga, which is Kali Yuga is approaching, and everything, including the good qualities of a man, is deteriorating to the lowest standard. So Vidura is basically asking him to leave home and leave quickly before the atmosphere becomes so bad. And there is reference to 7.28, which is something that we've been reading in our Bhagavad Gita class, our Srimad Bhakti Shastri class as well. Yesham Antagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam Vedvanda Mohanir Mukta Bhajante Mam Triravrata. So only people that have acted piously in previous lives and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and are freed from the qualities of delusion can engage in the service of the Lord with determination. So that's the advice that Vidura is giving Dhritarashtra. Even if he's not able to become a sannyasi or a Narottama, which is the first class human being, where he's completely able to depend on Lord Krishna, at least to become a Dhira. So that's a summary basically, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Anybody would like to share anything else? Balram Prasad Prabhu, Anita Mataji, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
I was thinking the principle is very important in the sense having the attitude of accepting the dhira, right? That means to practice spiritual life. But the specific instruction here is for Dhritarashtra is to leave the home. Maybe that's not applicable because it's a detail. That's my understanding. For us, I think it's more of accepting that principle that whatever dedicating our life for Krishna consciousness while executing our current duties, family, work, and society, things like that. So in that sense, we also have our guides like Vidura who are guiding us to go through this journey, inspiring us, accepting the principle of bhakti, right? So that's one aspect. And here, another aspect I was remembering is some of the talk that Vidura was talking was a general group actually, but there are few verses which he spoke personally, means only to the Dhritarashtra. Nobody else knew it. So I think this verse clearly happens to be that one is telling secretly that you just leave, don't wait. Because other verses he was talking philosophy, effects of time and things like that, generic. But here he's very explicit, you just leave the home. So these are the 2 points I want to make. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, I was thinking, Prabhu, I mean, some of these, I mean, he started talking to all the members of the family, right? I mean, he stayed for quite some time, right? So
Yes.
I thought then after that, because I think after these few verses, so I think he's directly talking to Dhritarashtra, immediately they leaves. So I was of the opinion, because when I read this earlier also, I got kind of, because he was very, very direct, so he will not be doing that right in the assembly of so many other relatives, right? So to Dhritarashtra. So I'm thinking that he was talking personally to him, right? Sometimes. So I think those.
Yeah. This he clarifies. Prabhu, Purjana Prabhu in his one of these verses, he clarifies.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly where and where. Yeah. So I think it's from Mahabharata, looks like, in the detail where this episode is already there. So maybe based on that inference, he knows that some generic verses he talks about renunciation in the entire group. Then after everybody leaves, he personally goes to Dhritarashtra's room and then personally instruct.
Yes. Anybody else? Kiran Mataji, Kalpataru Mataji, Jyotirmay Mataji, Jain Prabhu, Lakshmi, Sandhya Mataji, Radha Kunj Bihar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept all my obeisances. Almost to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Mataji, Prabhuji, I don't have a lot to convey, but that point that Vrindavan Prabhu mentioned right now, it actually clarified a doubt to me, because as I was hearing all the verses, I was wondering, if Dhritarashtra left in secret, how come all these teachings are happening in the public? And how come Yudhishthira is thinking or saying it aloud that I didn't know where my, uh, uncle has gone. And now, thinking back, yeah, some of the verses probably was spoken in confidence, and some of the other verses were spoken in public. So that is how it is differentiated. Then the other thing I noted was, so Dhritarashtra actually quits home before the start of Kali Yuga, and that is very interesting, because once Kali Yuga is supposed to have started at the departure of Krishna. So that's the other thing I noted. Other than that, I don't have anything much to add. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All
Yes,
worship. Quickly going through the purport, what I realized is that there is a difference. The Srila Prabhupada is explaining the difference between Dhira, Paramahamsa, Dhira, Narottama, Sannyasa, and Paramahamsa. So it's like 4 things we can understand. So if Paramahamsa is the topmost state, right? And so Narottama and my understanding is, I might be wrong. Narottama is a first class devotee. He's the Uttama Adhikari. I might be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong here. And before going towards Paramahamsa, Sannyasa is a stage. But before taking Sannyasa, one has to be a Dhira. So by becoming a Dhira means you should go out of the house, be independent, and do severe austerity or practice some kind of yoga, because he did not do any devotional service, right? Dhritarashtra. So, by grace of Vidura, he can he took that instruction. See, if there is a grandfather or elderly person in the family, right? If they tell everybody that I'm leaving, will we let them go? We will not let them go, right? So Vidura is saying, you should leave immediately without telling anybody, so that at least his path will be cleared, so that he will be detached from. So so that's why. So Dhira is the first stage. So at least he's saying at least become a Dhira. So if he becomes a Dhira, then he can, you know, so from there he can become a sannyasa, and then he can become a Paramahamsa. But I don't think Dhritarashtra made it to that level. So he became a Dhira. He left the house, and then he did austerity, and then he invoked fire from within and gave up his body. But he attained some purity, but he did not reach to that pure devotee stage. So that is my understanding, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, my understanding, Mataji, the Paramahamsa is the highest stage of sannyasa, right? I think there are 4 different stages of there. So
Yeah, from
somewhere.
the purport, yes. Yeah, I don't know if it is 4 stages or not, but yes, topmost is Uttamadhikari. Narottama is Uttamadhikari. I have separate definitions written down somewhere in my notes, but I we didn't prepare and come to the class, so I didn't have that to share here. So
I was talking about the sannyasa stages, Mataji, Kuti Chaka, that one, right? I think that Parivrajikacharya, and then Paramahamsa stage is the highest stage of sannyasa. So, right?
there are a couple of purports in the same chapter that have it will progress. The progression of differences will be shown. If maybe next time when I have a chance, I can share those.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving the opportunity today.
Anybody else would like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Sachi Srikadas.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So in the context of the purification that happened to Dhritarashtra was so significant. Even Dhritarashtra had the opportunity to associate before Krishna. Transition happened is through Vidura. So the purifying factor, after so many calamities that has happened for Dhritarashtra, and when Vidura said like, what is happening that you're sitting here and eating the food that is being offered through Bhima, you have to get out, you have to do that. So Krishna plays a significant role in doing things through his devotees, and that seems to be more powerful and transformatory factor for even the most a person who has been so dull and ignorant of all these years. So that's a greater glorification that comes to my mind on seeing the pastimes through Vitra. That's something that I would like to share.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful point, actually. So yesterday, I think yesterday Mohan Lila Prabhu was talking about, I think, right? So, I mean, the Krishna gives it up, but then again, I mean, saying that, okay, I tried, I told so many things, I told Bhagavad Gita also too, I made the arrangement to know you, but you didn't understand. So now I will not even touch, I mean, right? So he will give it up, but devotee doesn't do that. Vidra, I mean, why he has to come all the way again back to palace and, I mean, to teach Dhritarashtra just because of out of his compassion, nothing else. So,
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much for that point. Nice. We have 3 minutes. Anybody else would like to share? Last couple of sharings. I think Sandhya Mataji, Govind Mahini Mataji joined. If there are no more sharings, shall we end the reading and discussion for today? Okay. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you all so much. I'm sorry, I think Mukund Prabhu could not make it so this morning. So we will read again.
Maybe we should add Chandra Mataji to the speakers group, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all devotees.
Right.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.